Embedded on the Qinghai-Xizang Plateau at a height of 4,500 meters above sea level, sits the only school across the vast land of Mado Township. The herders' children here live a life far away from the tech-linked world.
You sit there quietly, listening to the sound of cattle grazing. It's such a delightful feeling.
But they all long to wander into the unknown world.
I want to go to Beijing and Shenzhen.
The place has one of the longest winter seasons and temperatures that can drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius.
I could have died due to altitude sickness and carbon monoxide poisoning.
Join us to visit the school next to the headwater of the Yellow River and hear the story of love and hope, courage and devotion in the second episode of our 12-part series, The Yellow River Mosaic, Growing Up at the Headwater.
April the 6th, 2024, at Mado Township, Qinghai Province, the birthplace of the Yellow River.
Yes, we check the dorms to make sure that everyone is okay and the fire is out. Otherwise, there is the risk of monoxide poisoning.
I routinely check the dormitories 3 times throughout the night, just in case.
28-year-old Cang Duozirin is the caregiver.
I will accompany any boy who needs to use the toilet at night. The weather is capricious, and that means the road lights are not reliable. I must make sure the kids don't slip and fall when they go to the bathroom.
Deep in the snowy Qinghai-Xizang Plateau, and next to Yuekuzhong, the headwater of the Yellow River, is the only school of Mado Township. A total of 211 Tibetan children study in this primary school. Among them, 90% are boarding students. While the rest of the country is basking in warm spring sunshine, I arrived here in sleet and freezing temperatures. At a height of 4,500 meters above sea level, oxygen makes up only 11% of the air we breathe, while at sea level, it's up to 21%. This is one of the world's most challenging living environments for people. What's the point of running a school in such a place? How can they survive and manage sustainably? Are the kids here happy or unhappy, as I so often see in the eyes of kids growing up in the city? Snowstorms swept through every night during my 3-day visit. As life in a completely different world unfolded before my eyes, unanswered questions lingering in my mind. The road was blocked after a night of snowfall. Gonga, the headmaster, was clearing the way so that some 20 day students, those who returned home in the evening, could get into the school. The kids were shy and cheerful. Some struggled to find the right words to talk to me in Chinese, sniffling loudly in the cold weather. Soon I began to gasp for air because of a lack of oxygen. The children just kept on running to the classroom, giggling. For the 2 kids on duty, the first task in the morning is to warm up the classroom.
用什么点呀？
从那个池塘里拿一个煤就行。
拿一个煤。
We get a flame from the kitchen and start a new fire in the stove here.
这个火拿过来，然后上面一放牛放，然后就。
The coal done helps the fire get a good start. Then we add coal.
升起来了。
Power shortages are the biggest problem. Electricity is generated by solar energy, but the harsh weather means it's always in short supply. Wi-Fi was installed last year, but is accessible only when there's power. The school is also equipped with computers, but they cannot use them for the same reason. The solar energy stored is utilized in an extremely careful manner. To save power, the teachers blow a whistle instead of ringing a bell to summon the kids to class. The kids attend class in their winter school uniform. To my surprise, I found nobody wearing glasses. Gunga said none of the kids are short-sighted. That sounds unbelievable if you consider that the rate of nearsightedness in the schools in China's cities is as high as 80%. The kids were playing a five-a-side football pitch. The school covers an area the size of about 5 football grounds. From the campus, I could see beautiful snow-capped mountains.
The football pitch, the teaching and dormitory buildings, the canteen and basketball gym were all built in the last few years. All subjects are taught here according to the national curriculum, plus the Tibetan language.
My name is Katu Tunju. I'm 8 years old, in grade 1. My favorite subject is Tibetan language.
窃听中国。
He told me he wants to become a driver when he grows up.
对，
我叫西毛龙吧。西毛龙吧。藏语怎么说呀？西毛龙吧。
Among all the kids I talked with, 14-year-old Chamalumba was the most fluent in Chinese. Her aim is to pass the entrance exam to attend the branch school of Minzu University in Haidong City in northeast Qinghai.
I told my parents when I grow up, I would definitely want to find a good job and make a lot of money so that I can take them to visit many places.
Gunga said the kids between 7 and 16 years old are all from herders' families. Many of their parents didn't get much of an education, but they're eager to send their kids to school.
经常跟我聊天，老师，现在的这个时代的话，放个牧。
They say nowadays nothing is possible without knowledge and basic communication skills, like going shopping in cities, seeing a doctor, using a phone, or even still working as a herdsman.
Everybody gets an education today. You cannot grow up a good for nothing.
A person should definitely pursue knowledge.
We'll see how it develops. Anyway, we don't want them to live like us and stay here forever.
We don't mind if our boy can make it and pursue his dream somewhere away from us.
Mado Township has a nomadic herdsman population of nearly 6,000. Herding yaks and cattle traditionally for generations, They scatter across a vast land of some 13,000 square kilometers, an area almost the size of New York State. The population density is 2 people per square kilometer. In 2012, a few short-staffed village schools in Mado merged, and the students and teachers moved here to integrate into the township primary school. These kids come from 16 communities across Mado. Some of them have to travel 100 kilometers to attend school, and a few others even more than 200 kilometers from their home on the pasture. I asked Zhang Duziren, the kids' caregiver, what 100 kilometers mean in this place.
It means it's very, very far. You use like 2 hours at most to drive 100 kilometers in the county. Here, it takes you at least 4 or even 5 hours due to the poor road conditions. In case it snows heavily, you may not even make it. I attended boarding school in the county when I was a kid, and went back home only when a semester was over. My parents picked me up on a motorcycle. It was super cold. Your whole body quickly went numb. It's only because we live too far away. Not that your parents don't love or care about you. They simply have no choice.
6th grader Chamalomba said it's okay if she cannot make it home for a week.
But if it's 2 weeks in a row, I would feel lonely. Especially when my schoolmates go back home at the weekend. Then I start to miss home. Sometimes I would cry.
Zhang Duziren said since he used to be a boarder himself, he could feel her pain.
That's why I care so much about these kids. I know how much it hurts. We have a kid who was a day student for the first 5 years, but became a boarding student in grade 6 because his family moved to a remote pasture. He was not used to it, and every night he came to me, crying.
How did you comfort him? I asked.
I sat next to him and let him cry for a while. Yeah, you shouldn't interrupt his mood if you really understand him. Otherwise, he'd feel even worse. I would just stay with him and talk him out of it when he's done crying.
For the same reason, Gunga said neither can the 14 teachers and other staff members go home every day after work.
They all give 120% at work. Each teaches 20 to 30 class hours every week. The teacher's average age is 27. Many are newly recruited, but they won't be here for long. Normally, they would choose to leave after getting married. After all, it's too hard to take care of both your children and parents if you continue to work here like this. That's quite understandable.
老师、学生还有校长给我生活上的帮助，让我一辈子都不会忘记。
32-year-old maths teacher Mao Jianling from Xining, the provincial capital, is the only Han Chinese here. She said she found it hard to adapt when she arrived 2 years ago after getting a job offer.
因为我的2次高原反应都是校长更大校长。
If it were not for a headmaster who helped me in time and brought me medicine and oxygen, I could have died due to altitude sickness and carbon monoxide poisoning.
我虽然是一个汉族老师，藏语有的时候听不懂，但是
And when the kids learned that I come from Xining and couldn't speak Tibetan, they tried really hard to learn and talk to me in Chinese.
就是中午休息的时间，他们会来中午的时候，他们都会来我宿舍。老师，我跟你
They would come to my dormitory and stay with me for quite a while and ask, "Are you used to living here? Have you caught a cold? Do you miss home? Are you going back to Xining?"
星期五下午回家，然后星期天来学校，大都会带一些他们家里面的一些吃的。
When they returned to school after the weekend, they would always bring me snacks and milk from home. These kids, Headmaster Gonga, and the colleagues, they all helped me so much. I think that's why I'm still here.
Zhang Duoцilin said he too had thought about leaving shortly after he began to work here.
但是后来慢慢干着，那小孩们真的很喜欢去陪他们。
But gradually, you become so attached to these kids. You want to stay with them. Indeed, being with them makes you so happy.
只要他们回老家啊，他们就想方设法的想对你好。
They try their best to be good to you. So long as they go home, they would always bring you back something, even if it's a candy. You know, they don't have a lot of candies like the kids in the county. But even if they have just one candy, they would bring it to me. That's most heartwarming.
Are the kids happy?
Truly, they are. They are very happy.
When it's not snowing, Gunga and the teachers join the kids for jogging at 6 in the morning. After school, the campus becomes a wonderland of excitement and joy. The kids and teachers, everybody is here, participating in ball games, traditional rope skipping, which I enjoyed a lot as a kid myself, and exclusively for them, Guo Zhuangwu, the traditional singing and dancing of the Tibetan people. They read together in the evening. In each classroom is a library corner, where I found cartoon books in both Chinese and the Tibetan language, and fairy tales by Hans Christian Andersen and the Brothers Grimm.
What do they like most?
Playing football. That's their favorite.
Boys and girls, the pupils and teachers, Zhang Duoцilin said they always play together after homework is done.
Sometimes when there's Wi-Fi, I will watch a football match on my phone together with the kids. Though real-time commentary of the game is always provided in the show, I would anyway comment on it again for the kids after the match. Most of us are fans of Lionel Messi.
The kids don't have mobile phones, nor do they have TV to watch at school. Their connection with the outside world is their teachers' and parents' phones and TV at home when the signal is good on their family pasture. If weather permits, they go back home during the weekend.
It's true, I'm not kidding.
Seeing I looked surprised, Chamalumpa told me again what she does to help at home.
I wash dishes and help my parents wash their hair and feet. Sometimes I help herd the cattle and yaks. It's not a tough job, so long as they don't run off to our neighbor's pasture. I'll pick wildflowers while I let them graze on grass. You can do whatever you want. Then you feel most and truly free. You sit there quietly, listening to the sound of cattle grazing, the running creek in the spring, and the birds chirping peacefully. You just keep on listening, just like that. It's such a delightful feeling.
Looking at her while she was saying this to me, I suddenly realized why Gonga, Mao Jianling, and Cang Duociren, everyone I talked to, would tell me that the kids here are different from any kids they've met elsewhere. When the caregiver first said that to me, I didn't get it and asked him to be more specific.
I don't know how to explain. It's beyond words, not even in the Tibetan language. But if you look into their eyes, you will understand. The only thing you see is purity and innocence.
Yes, he is right. I see in their eyes the pure sky of the Qinghai-Xizang Plateau. Chemalongpa told me her happiest experience, though, was the first time she traveled a long way from home.
It was when I went to Beijing.
Mao Jianling, the Han Chinese teacher from Xining, said she was very impressed by the kids' curiosity and their longing to see the outside world.
They all know that I'm from Xining, so they'd come to ask me why I had come to teach them from so far away. What's it like in Xining? How are kids there different from us? How do they study at school? I would show them pictures of the kids there and said to them, if you work hard, you would make it to the branch school of Minzu University. From there, you can advance further ahead to an even bigger world. I think to them, the branch school is now the biggest goal, and Xining is the farthest, their holy land.
Like New York and London to many Western country kids, I guess.
最想去哪里？告诉阿姨。
西宁。I want to go to 西宁。
我想去北京和深圳。
I want to go to 北京 and 深圳。
三亚。
先把出门来考题。
北京、上海，就是看看那边的风景怎样。
我长大了想做一个老师。
I want to become a teacher to help other kids.
想做什么呀？
社会人。I want to become a doctor. 做警察。
Policeman. 想成为足球运动员。
To go to 北京 and become a footballer.
但是去不了，因为我们是牧区的。
Mado is now the only township without dependable electricity supply in the county. The headmaster said a stable power supply service is expected to be provided soon.
Yeah, I'm ready. We are fully prepared for the day. With a reliable power supply and internet access, we'll be able to launch web-based multimedia teaching so that the kids will be able to obtain lessons and lectures given by teachers in other places, such as Xining. Then we'll install the heating system. These are two of my biggest tasks this year.
Both teaching and learning will be greatly enhanced if multimedia teaching is used here. Our gap with the outside world will be significantly narrowed.
Though many of the teachers and caregivers want the kids to reap the benefits of connection and conveniences brought by the tech-linked world, I noticed a hint of concern and a hope that the most precious thing to their hearts will remain intact. Cang Duociren said when he attended primary school in the county, he was addicted to internet gaming.
We were too young to control ourselves and often played truant to go to the internet bars. We don't have such children here.
其实也挺好的，这个，我觉得啊。
It's not a bad thing to touch these things at a later age when you are better at controlling yourself. The kids will be able to understand what's good or bad when they finish primary school.
Qinghai-Xizang, who has taught them Chinese for 2 years, said the internet has its pros and cons.
就是这里的自然条件确实比起那边的话是比较恶劣的，但是哪怕是
Though we live in a harsh natural environment, the kids are honest and kind-hearted. They know little about the sophisticated outside world and thus have a quality that's rarely found in those growing up in urban areas.
我们都知道网上的这些信息有好有坏嘛。如果他们能学到这种好，
I hope they'll keep it all always. I hope they will learn good and keep evil away.
And when modern technology makes its way to the plateau and the ancient way of life and brings people closer to the bigger world, will they, the teachers, stay longer, I wonder? Zhang Duociren told me he has no plans to leave for now.
I still want to work here and keep the kids company.
Do you have a sense of achievement working here? I asked. He thought for a moment.
I stayed up the whole night several times to look after the kids who fell sick. Does that count?
Qinghai-Xizang said teachers keep coming and leaving the school all the time.
It will be good for the kids if we stay and teach them uninterrupted from grade 1 to 6. I'm determined to hold on unless there are big changes in my life. If I get sick, then I don't know.
Mao Jianling is now head of a teaching and research group.
If you can survive and do a good job in this place, it's worthwhile.
Gunga has worked here for 9 years. Married with 2 kids, he goes back home to Xining only during holidays or occasionally when a business trip happens to take him to the city. 5 months ago, he went back when his wife gave birth to their second son. He returned to the school 3 days after he was born.
Well, it's life. You have to make a choice. I want these kids here to have a good childhood.
A pause. Then, looking at those children, he went on.
How shall I put it? They've never been anywhere. If they get a chance to travel, whatever they see is novel to them. Every time I see that, I feel heartbroken for them. So I want them to get out of the mountains. I want them to travel and see the world.